to the BuiltOnAir podcast, the variety show for all things Airtable. Each episode, we cover 4 different segments. It's always fresh and different and lots of fun while you get the insider info on all things Airtable. Our hosts and guests are some of the most senior experts in the Airtable community. Join us live each week on our YouTube channel every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern and join our active community at BuiltOnAir.com/join. Before we begin, a word from our sponsor, OnToAir.com. Any business running on Airtable gets the value that Airtable has, but also needs a few more functions to complete their operations. That's where OnToAir comes in. It's a suite of tools for any business running on Airtable to maximize your operations efficiencies and automations. One customer, John, states that OnToAir enables his business to function properly without having to think about building their own software, and that is pretty invaluable. The OnToAir Airtable apps are amazing, and we use them often and are very happy with the results. So join John and hundreds more customers and take your Airtable to the next level with OnToAir. Sign up today with promo code BuiltOnAir for a 10% discount. Check them out at OnToAir.com. And now let's check out today's episode and see what we built on air. All right, welcome to the BuiltOnAir podcast. We are live at Daretable. We've got Camille and Alli in person.
Yay! We're all in the same room.
Yep,
this is a first.
Exciting.
This is
hopefully, I forgot I was talking in the wrong place. Hopefully you can hear us. Give us feedback in the comments if everything's sounding okay. See if we get people joining here. So what we're going to do for this show is we're going to grab some people that are attending and get some feedback on how things are going, get some insight into some amazing, interesting people that are here at the conference. First, let's start here with this group. How's it been so far?
That's awesome.
Yeah. I just went to one of the sessions hosted by Alex, and it was just his incredible journey going throughout his life and how he ended up using Airtable for so many great causes, like helping veterans and making sure everyone has nice, clean water, just the whole gamut. Really great.
Really, really cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We just have such a great community, and to have everybody here in person is just really, really nice.
Yep.
So Alli presented yesterday.
I did.
All done. Camille still gets to go.
They put me last.
Yeah. So the conference started yesterday morning, all day yesterday, and then today, all day today.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's see. Some exciting stuff, some announcements. Airtable is here making some announcements.
Yeah.
I don't know what we can share.
I mean, the first one off the bat, the first session off the bat was from Airtable, co-hosted by Cherry Yang, who's a friend of the show. And just, I'm excited for the future, just improvements and things that really getting the feeling that some of the complaints and criticisms we've recently heard and had ourselves about, Airtable and certain features, they're working on it, which, I don't know how much I can say, but it was nice to see some acknowledgement and, they're actioning upon things and things take time. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, it definitely sounds like they are listening for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They better, because we're in their headquarters.
Yeah.
We're inside the Airtable office this year.
Yep. We got to look around. We saw the secrets on all the whiteboards and everything. Not quite. But I looked. I didn't see anything.
Would you believe they're working on gene splicing?
Very good. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to leave and go grab some people and come in. So maybe give a summary of what you talked about at your presentation, what you're going to be talking about, and then I'll bring somebody in.
Awesome. Yeah, yesterday I did a session called Mastering Metrics, and it was just a lot of the stuff that I've already demoed on BuiltOnAir, actually, but just in a big, long concatenation of it all. Mm-hmm. About like bucketing data by month, getting a running total, stuff like that. So just tips and tricks to extract the data that you need out of your base. And that was really great. I enjoyed talking to everybody during that.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. And then Camille presents this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm closing out the conference with what was originally going to be a pretty hands-on, people come, they give me a question and I try to answer it live. Still going to do that, but it's going to start with my life story. So that'll be fun. Everyone gets to know everything about me. And we have now in the room, if you want to come and join us on screen, this is Brandy. You've already had your session.
I did.
We just sort of described what our sessions were and were going to be. Do you want to tell our audience what you talked about yesterday?
Sure. So I tell everyone that I felt super inadequate being amongst these Airtable aficionados. Like, people are so smart here, but my session was just on the basics, literally basics. Love that. Cute. So I am a branding nerd. So I built it out on an acronym called BASE ACE. So I focused on building your base first. Really, you take the time up front to brainstorm and assimilate your data. So that means asking the right questions if you're a consultant, asking them, what problem are you trying to solve? How can Airtable help you? And maybe it won't help you. We can talk about that. It might not always be the right solution. And then really start to think about the structure of your data. So that leads to the S of the base, structure your data. So be ready to identify the key entities and things that you need to go ahead and set up for your table. And then, so we were building out a custom CRM live in the class. Wonderful. And so we talked about what type of data points we would need for each table. And then we get to the E of base, which means, I always forget this E because there's two E's. Establish, that's right. So we're going to establish our views and interfaces in order to see that data really easily, whether that's internally, like creating a view for your coworkers to quickly collaborate on some data, or it may also be establishing an interface for an external user that's, having a shared link that way. We didn't get to the ACE part because we were just too busy talking. We had so much fun. So thank you if you came to my session. But ACE would stand for the automate process. So automating whatever you can, whether that's creating documents that you need for your business, images, things like that. And then after automations come control, which actually sometimes control needs to come before automation. Controlling who has access to the data, giving them permissions and limiting permissions. And then the last letter is E for ensure. Make sure your data is backed up. Shout out to OnToAir and their backups. Have a system or plan in place to back up your data and ensure that it will last the length of your business.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And I love that automate comes after establish, because we've said before that you can't start with just automating things. You really have to understand what it is that you're building and why and what's important, and you made a fun little acronym. Yeah. My goodness.
I love that. And you even had medals.
I did. I gave out awesome. Medals. I should have brought one in. But yes, everybody, when they left our session, they were officially base aces. So they got a little medal for that.
I love that.
And if you look at my session, if you go to www.becomeabaseace.com, I have all my presentation slide deck, videos of both my actual presentation, and then I did do a follow-up video last night for part 2 on the ACE part. So that's on there. And then I was going with the logo that I designed for that. It was actually an image generated by Midjourney. So I just wanted to put in a quick little award picture, and it generated that guy wearing a medal. So I was like, I gotta have a medal for this class. So yeah, it was super fun. I'm so glad to be here. So pumped to be amongst these stars. Like, I'm always online chatting, but it's great to be with the brains in the room. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming, and and for making your content available for those who weren't able to come to the conference. But
so important. I wasn't able to go last year, so definitely huge FOMO because I wanted to be in the room, but so glad to share it.
Yeah, wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for coming.
Okay, we'll see you later.
All right. Thanks, Brandy.
Awesome.
It's so cool.
Everyone just knows so much.
Yeah, it's amazing to be. These are like our people. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Right.
Join us.
Can I sit here?
Yes.
You sure can.
Please. Yeah, we are live on YouTube.
Yeah, we're
podcast.
Vaguely framed.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
Please
What you
state
want to
your
know?
name for our audience.
My name is David Gatlin.
Excellent.
Airtable full stack, no code solutions engineer. I focus mostly on enterprise accounts, connecting large enterprise accounts, to, going through a lot of security loopholes, documentation and processes.
Mm-hmm.
Been doing Airtable for like 10 years.
Wow.
That beats me.
Beats me too. I've got 6. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's the longest one I've ever heard, actually.
I didn't know Airtable was 10 years old.
2012, I think.
Wow.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It was brand new.
So you've seen certainly more than we have.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, well, I used it for most of that time. I had another career. Yeah, I was a director of ops for a private, a company that made software for private corporate jets.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I used Airtable every day there, and it was, it was our source of truth for everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd say about 3 years ago, I really dove into focusing on no code and obviously Airtable as a foundation.
Yeah. Wonderful.
Awesome. And how have you found the conference so far?
Conference has been awesome. It's been great to meet everybody that's here. I see all you guys on the forums, and I watch the YouTube channels. So it's nice to meet everybody. Awesome networking, seeing what people are working on, what their problems are is really intriguing to me.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of people here presenting their solutions, and I've been kind of poking them and saying, well, what are your problems?
Yeah. That's actually great, because when we come and we present something at conferences like this, we'll think through, okay, we have to sell that this is such an interesting and cool project, and that's why we're presenting it. But problems, there's no way anyone built anything the first time perfectly. And hearing about how someone came across a problem and solved it is another great reason to come to a conference like this.
Yeah, and you're in a room with a bunch of people that have probably hit that, or can give you some advice.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's been incredible to these are like the people that I want to talk to all the time. So it's great to have a room full of them.
It's been good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what session did you just walk in from?
I was in Xavier's presentation about mentoring and nonprofits, which kind of was one of the last ones I was saying, let's talk about your problems.
Mm-hmm.
You presented all your solution, because she mentioned earlier in her presentation that nonprofits have there's a big lack of IT support in nonprofits because of cost, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I found that very interesting as a possible vertical, because I'm always thinking that way.
Yeah.
But that was one of the things I pressed her, is what are your problems? And it was interesting to hear that as well, where they are and where they got stuck.
Right.
They presented this and then okay, well, 2 steps down, you're stuck. That's interesting.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I think that might be my favorite part of hearing all of these different sessions, because everyone is coming up with different, the use case. Obviously they're all using Airtable, but there's different use cases being put on display, and it's even different from last year. I don't know if you were able to go to the one in Austin last year, but everyone had a completely different, for some reason, everyone was getting married. And so
let me included.
Yeah, there's a lot of wedding planners and more like personal, I think, bases last year. This year is we've seen a lot of nonprofits. Yours and the one I just went to was also a bunch of nonprofits as well. Education, I think, has seen a couple of different sessions here.
That's right. Yeah.
Airtable is just so well suited for so many different
and a lot of customers here as well,
Yeah.
which has been interesting, that are just looking to learn.
Yeah, that's very true, which is great. I mean, that's like Airtable attracts all sorts of different people, which is so cool.
It really does.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right on.
Yeah.
Who's that here? Hello.
You know what? I forgot to pay attention to chat. Hi.
Hello.
So I think we're day 2. It's about 2:50 p.m. PST. We only have a few sessions left. The next session is what's called Unconference, where anyone from the audience can come up with about 10 minutes to speak on something. Mm-hmm. And I have not taken a look at the list yet of who's coming up or what. do we want to place bets? What are we going to see? What do we hope to see?
I think we're going to see a lot of AI.
There's been a lot of AI this year too. Yeah, it's right.
Tons of AI.
Lots of AI talk. It's a hot topic.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we suspect AI.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right.
Right on. All right.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for joining us.
All right. I'll talk to you all later.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right.
I think we have
Got 2 for 1.
We got
two, but we only have one chair.
We've got 2 Airtable celebrities coming in.
What? Just take a second. You might have to,
Yeah, here.
come along inside.
Hello. All right, welcome Cherry Yang and Kavan Borderbrogen.
Yep.
Yes,
Welcome,
Excellent.
Legends.
absolutely.
You're here at the Daretable conference, day 2.
These are the legends.
I
think you two are the legends, and like seeing you and being with you two together is amazing.
Well, you both had sessions yesterday. I think you were 1 and 2, right?
You were keynote, and then I was in the session that started up the first of the breakouts.
Right. So, is that good or bad being the first to sort of speak at the conference, and the rest you just get to experience as like a visitor, or
Well, so this is the 3rd time that I've been speaking, and I told Chris, thank you very much, so much for putting me in the spot that I am. And he's like, well, he listened to my feedback on how I liked it before. And for me, it was the perfect spot because no way would I ever want the attention of the keynote and all that pressure. But then I got to do my first session. It's over and done with, and I can just enjoy the rest of the conference.
I agree. Yeah, it was nice to get it done yesterday and now just be de-stressed.
rub it in, why don't you?
Yeah, exactly.
I still haven't gone.
You saved the best for last.
Yeah, the best for last.
So, Cherry, your session you shared actually with a representative from Airtable. What was that kind of like? Just sort of prepping for the conference. You have such a great sort of experience in the consulting side. And now you get to talk with. Okay, we have a chair.
Cheers.
Now you have the opportunity to sort of talk with Airtable at Airtable's headquarters.
Yeah, that was a very special experience. I actually got rejected twice
What?
for the first 2 topics I submitted. And then I was thinking, I want to come and speak at this conference. So I messaged Connor, who I met at the Airtable Leaders Forum last year. And in our first meeting, we found out we have the exact same birthday, 10 years apart.
Wow.
That was really funny. And then we reached out to Steph. Actually, I reached out to someone, John Zifkin at Airtable. He sent me around to lots of different people, and then we then we eventually got connected with Steph, which was great. And yeah, that's how this whole thing came together.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Proof that the first time, if it doesn't work through, keep on pushing doors and knocking on doors and opening windows, and something will happen.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It worked out. You did a good job.
It worked out. And
Kicked
this
off the
was
conference.
a real throwback too, because the first year I spoke, I was a backup speaker for someone else. So I remember not sleeping that night. And then, like, had a whole bunch of client calls in the morning, then did my conference talk. And this was the first year when it was virtual, and then just immediately went to bed after I logged on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been wonderful.
It really has been. So this is 3 for 3 for you, and you're 2 of 3, or did you also speak at?
2 of 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah, I gotta get on to last level.
I'm lucked out because the first one was virtual, and then the second one was in my home state. So I was like, okay, that was an easy. And then this one was like, I had so much time the first 2 times. I'm like, I've got to go.
Well, now you got to go. I remember before you were saying that you might not be able to go, and the group chat was in an uproar. We were like, what? What do you mean? You have to go.
Well, now that you're here and you see, so I'm walking with canes now. I was diagnosed with severe degenerative osteoarthritis last summer. And I was like, the idea of just getting on a plane and having to walk through the airport and all that was like so overwhelming. But I made it here, and everyone here has just been super helpful and supportive. You know, people offering to say, hey, can I carry that for you? It's just, it's such a wonderful, caring community. I really love it.
Yeah,
It really is.
and we promise we wouldn't have bullied you if you didn't feel that you could make it.
It wouldn't have been an Airtable conference without Kavan.
I believe that. I don't think it would have been necessarily the same. You know, we have a wonderful community all within this room, full of people who've made contributions over time. And there's just certain people it wouldn't feel like, you know, an Airtable user conference without some of the cornerstones.
Exactly.
And the users are amazing. Just all the care and all the nonprofit examples that have come up over the last 2 days. It's really inspiring.
It really is,
Yeah.
because right now I work with Airtable in a fairly corporate setting, but it's so nice to hear so many people who are making changes directly in their communities or communities that they care about using Airtable. And I think that's such a strength of this platform that you might not think to use like Excel for the betterment of mankind, perhaps.
But you can.
Absolutely. All right.
Can I have a quick plug?
Yeah, please.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. I have a course. It's called Airtable Mastery, and this conference really inspired us to want to keep supporting people and building on their Airtables. So we're offering $250 off for the course for the next 10 days. You can type in the code Daretable23, and $250 is the price of the conference.
Perfect.
A lot of us pay to attend, so it's like paying $250 to come to the conference to learn, and then
You get that much off.
Yes.
and you get that money back if you buy the course.
Wonderful.
That's
Where can they
awesome.
find the course?
It's airopsconsulting.org, AIROPS, and on the page of what we offer, there's a course tab, and the course is called Airtable Mastery.
Wonderful.
Great. Thank you so much, Terry. That's awesome.
Yay! Thanks for
All
having us.
right. Thank you
All
both
right.
for joining us.
It's awesome being in person on the
I
podcast
know.
too, because we've
Yeah.
been there virtually.
Oh, that's true. You have seen us in person before, but again, now we're all
But
in the
on
same
the
room.
podcast
Yeah.
in person
Yes.
is really amazing.
Yeah, this is the first. It's really cool. I'm happy about it.
Yeah, and my first time seeing all three of you in
Yeah.
person.
Yeah, that's
Very
been really
special.
great. Absolutely. Yay, thank you guys
Thank
so
you.
much.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, I don't know what we do. I don't know what to do with the chair.
Yeah, just leave it.
Thank you.
All right. Wonderful.
All right. Do we have another?
I think so.
We do.
have-
Hello.
Hello.
Oh no, we do need the chair. I lied. Oh God.
Perfect amount of chair. Encouraging. Are you always that motivated?
Welcome.
Welcome, ladies.
All right.
Just gonna
Thank
squeeze
you.
in here.
Let's do. That's probably fine. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Of course. Thank you for
course.
joining us. It's great. Yeah.
So,
Here.
We've met earlier. Your name's Emily,
Yes.
correct? Good to see you again.
Yes.
Thank you for joining.
Likewise.
And what's your name?
Anais Shante.
And Yais.
Yes.
Love it.
you can both have name tags. And I feel like I should have one. I assume from the same organization.
That's correct. We are here from Nurturely, which is a nonprofit organization focused on health equity
Mhm.
during pregnancy, postpartum, and infancy.
Wonderful.
Excellent.
And we run on Airtable.
That's
Completely on Airtable.
See, again, we've said before, all of the different nonprofits that have come up, and they're all different. There's, for homeless veterans, and now for women's health and maternity, just covering so many different aspects of making life better for no other reason that it should be better. And
Yes.
love that. So you run your business or your nonprofit off of Airtable. How did you start that?
Kind of stumbled upon it, testing out different tools, testing out Trello and Asana and, all the usual kind of basic task management systems. And my entry into Airtable was through task management, and then quickly realized that, it can do so much more, and it can do everything. And we are here now because we're realizing, it can really help us level up, scale our impact, grow our team, expand the number of people that we can serve, and the inequities that we can prevent by having more optimized systems, and spending more time on our mission rather than spending time on the admin and the back end of all the things that go into running an organization. So we are thrilled about it.
Yeah, wonderful. Where are you guys based?
We are national remote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Very cool. And what session did you just go to see?
I was in the media and content session.
And I was in the inclusion session.
Oh, awesome.
Wonderful.
Wonderful. And how were those?
Gideon was a hilarious speaker,
Really?
so I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a lot of preaching to the choir and kind of trash talking other non-Airtable platforms, but
This is the place to do
highly
that.
would
entertaining. So yeah, it was a good time.
Excellent.
Yes. And Sabrina was so knowledgeable. I was able to connect with her presentation because we are also a small nonprofit. So the tips and tricks that she was able to share with, she had this giant spreadsheet of over like 10,000 entries. And I thought she was exaggerating, but then she showed us a picture. And so how she was able to collect all of that data really resonated with me. We don't have 10,000 lines, but we do have some big bases that have a lot of information that we need to be able to kind of scale down. And so that was really useful for me to be able to see like, because as nonprofits, we're kind of like doing all of these different things and we have all of this data, and it's like, okay, here's an effective and efficient way to keep all of that data but make it work for you with an inclusion lens, which we're all about at Nurturely. So it was great.
Absolutely. And I feel like as nonprofits, sometimes you have to wear so many different hats, and Airtable is sort of the king at wearing different hats. Like you said, it does so many different things. It can do so many different things. Do you feel as your organization, it is something that you can give to some of your coworkers and your colleagues, and they're empowered to continue optimizing how they help other people? Or right now, you guys still in the stage of it's like you guys are building it for the team?
I would say from the beginning, we have had a small team. This is only our third year in operation. So our team is small. And so we've always had kind of all hands on deck in terms of actually building the bases and being empowered to take control over the back end of the bases. So there's definitely different levels and kind of points in people's Airtable's journey. But people are heavily involved, and everyone uses it for their own task management, as well as the project management for the projects that they're working on, as well as kind of like the higher end back end budgeting and team management, and all of the bigger picture things that we are working on. But I would say everyone on the team is empowered to a certain degree to be and has converted and become really excited about Airtable. And yeah, I think the team is converted and sees the potential.
Excellent. Wonderful.
That's all you want.
Exactly.
You want to build a system that people use and feel comfortable with.
Yes.
So that it's important to be, while you're at your job and you're doing what you love to do, you don't want to be burdened with the nonsense of performing the task.
Yes.
Being able to build a system for you specifically and how you guys operate.
Yes.
I imagine makes things just easier on your day to day.
Yes.
That's what's great about Airtable is that you can customize it to what you're looking for. And that's like super key for us because it literally is the heart of the organization. Like everyone, all full-time staff, we use it on a daily basis. Like we don't do anything outside of Airtable.
No.
Excellent. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining
Yes,
us.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah, we'll chat later for sure too.
That's great.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thank
Wonderful
you.
to meet you both.
You too.
Awesome. This is great. It's like the power rounds.
Yeah, it's because there's different sessions, right? Sometimes we get to meet these people in advance, and sometimes we don't, and sometimes we're in different sessions. And now we have 2 more people that I've never seen before in my life. It's crazy.
Welcome. We've got Charlie Melendez and Ben Green with us, 2 other staples of the Airtable community. Yeah, here.
Glad he wasn't here.
So how are you guys enjoying the conference?
It's been a blast. We had some really good Indian food last night.
Oh my God, it was delicious.
Yeah.
Should I say sponsored by Xano?
Yeah, the CEO of
Sponsored.
Xano came here for, and he just bought us dinner.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed out.
I did.
Oh,
I went
but-
out with a couple other people too. So
it's been really good. I mean, I feel like some sessions are kind of like very Airtable focused, and then some sessions like transcend, like definitely Chris's transcend everything that you think Airtable is and can be. And then also interestingly, like one person who's more code based, that kind of takes you, from the no code to the low code, and then like what's right above the low code, which is something that's interesting because sometimes clients need something bigger and more scalable, and it's just nowhere in my brain or purview. And so for him to kind of give some tools and show how they work was like, okay, if I ever need that, I kind of now know what tools to kind of go and start my next stage of exploration into.
absolutely.
That is sort of fun that there are, obviously, we're all Airtable groupies here and we talk about Airtable constantly and all the time, but sometimes just hearing about a different tool that I hadn't heard of before makes me want to go and play with something again, discover something new. And, obviously I'm going to be an Airtable groupie for, forever. But sometimes you got to expand a little bit as you grow, as your nonprofit becomes, goes from your state to national, or your business, you get all of the sales needed to expand your business. Sometimes you just need to add another tool to do your job even better. And conferences like these help as you hear how other people made their way to their successes.
Absolutely. Like Arrow page yesterday, like that was wild.
Mm-hmm.
We had Nicole Merwin showing off how she creates her social media posts, and that blew me away, like for free too, which was really cool.
Yeah. Shout out to the founder of AeroPage,
Yeah.
Mike. I've had a couple conversations with him, and he's like just a super humble guy. And like she said, he wants to give it away for free because he has this other product that's going to be like a Webflow / in between Webflow and Stacker, mainly for Airtable. That's like where he's trying to drive the value from. Yeah.
I want to know about that.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could tell you more, but I'm not. I'm kind of intimidated by tools that get more into like the Webflow realm because it's just a whole other world of design. I'm not really a great designer. I kind of wear the same clothes every day and don't really know what looks good. So I'm not a great designer. But to your other point before, like, I also feel like it's intimidating to hear other products sometimes, and because you're like intimidated of, I guess, also the failure of not really catching the learning curve of something. That's happened to me a couple of times where I'm like, oh, I really want to try this tool. And you start and you're like, I'm not getting it. And you just kind of give up and go back to your other ways. But sometimes you push through and you realize, and then that becomes one of your favorite tools. But to your point, like it is important to break out of your comfort zones and trying these new tools and getting to the next level.
Absolutely.
Well, you guys were both at the Austin conference last year. Ben, of course, is helping in assemble and manage these wonderful conferences that we go to. This is the second year that it's in person. How do you feel as we compare from Austin last year to San Francisco this year?
I think the in-person is really like what I come for. Like the content is great, but the people is what like made me come. I was like, I don't want to miss out seeing Alli and Camille and Charlie and Dan and Kuvan and all the other amazing people here, and Chris, of course.
Of course.
So it's just my favorite part is just having a place where we can all meet up together every year.
And I feel like it's leveling up. I mean, I don't want to set too much expectations for next year and whatever, but like this has been a really good conference. The turnout, I would say, is like double last year in my experience, my opinion. Also in terms of the quality of the turnout, like the people that are showing up are people from very large businesses that are coming, people that are also novices, people from different countries around the world who are showing up.
Yeah, we have someone from Belgium.
Yeah,
Belgium,
yeah,
France.
like Jan, our watcher.
Oh, yeah, he's here.
Yes.
Wonderful. We have people from all over, and I think the speakers last year were amazing, but I think that the speakers from this year, my goodness.
Yeah.
Be jealous, chat, that you weren't here.
Definitely try to get here next year, which we're looking forward to.
Yes, here again, Airtable.
We'll see.
Airtable headquarters.
Can you tell us anything, Ben?
Wait till the end of the day today, and you'll know.
All right.
Okay. Announcements.
Place your bets now.
We'll put it on Slack for everyone.
Cool.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that Howie coming?
Could
Let me
it
make
be?
room.
That would be so hilarious.
I know. Oh my god! If you walked in this room, I'd be like, "Oh my goodness."
My goodness. Up.
Yeah, so excited. We've got a few more talks today, actually.
Yeah.
Jen Rudd presenting, along with Chris. And there's one more that I should know.
It's me.
Well, you're the keynote, though.
Yeah.
That's like, but I mean, there's 3 more sessions.
Oh, yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome. You're the other one that's presenting today.
We were
Yes.
listing the remaining sessions.
I am. I'm easy to remember because I am the first fill-in. The first what is it? I was the first backup speaker, and I'm speaking. So
Excellent.
Well, do you want to give our audience a little preview of what you'll be speaking about in your session?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll be speaking. My name is Rob Widener, and I will be speaking on a little bit of a controversial topic now that we are here in Airtable's headquarters. But going to be talking about if Airtable is the solution. So a lot of people like to resort, including myself, to always implementing Airtable solutions. But a simple example is for an invoicing software. Sometimes it's just better to make an invoice with a tool that makes invoices as opposed to
use actual accounting software.
Yeah. As opposed to making it in Airtable and then trying to integrate it back into your accounting software.
I've been there.
Exactly.
My dad was yelling at me for years. He's like, you need to just be using QuickBooks. And I was like, but I like this. I'm learning about it. And then I had to at one point pull a profit and loss statement. And I was like, now I need to figure out how to make one of those. And then I was like, I don't know if this is right. So yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from.
It makes sense. I think a lot of times I will start a project in Airtable just because it's so fast to build something, but you'll see you're going to hit a wall. And depending on what that wall is, you might be able to make it work and make it work well in Airtable with maybe an integration or two. But there are some times where you should rather consider other options. And it's good to be aware of what your options are.
Yeah. So my topic is more just about finding that initial why. Why are you trying to solve the problem you're trying to solve? And then using that kind of internal conversation or external conversation, if it's with other stakeholders, figure out why it is that you're trying to make what it is you're trying to make. And then start with that, then figure out how you're going to make it. And then ultimately you kind of have your solution. Just kind of forcing some difficult questions and difficult thinking. And
I love that mindset because it reminds me of Jurassic Park. You spent so long trying to figure out how you could do it, but didn't stop to think about whether or not you should, or something of that effect.
Yeah.
Just because you can build it into your platform or software doesn't necessarily mean why? What is the purpose?
Yeah.
Don't, You don't need 1,000 bells and whistles.
For
You
sure.
just need to do what it's supposed to do and do it well.
For sure. And having the context, I think, is almost like a pre-qualifier to why you're actually building whatever it is that you're building. You have to have that context for yourself as well as for other stakeholders, because the reason why you're building it might not be the same reason why someone else has that problem.
Yeah.
So it's very easy for us to kind of build solutions for ourselves, but if the people that are going to be interacting with the solution maybe aren't familiar with Airtable or don't have the ability to, if there's not an ability to properly set up permissions and access, then even though it might be the easiest solution or the best solution, it might not be the right solution. So,
absolutely, and it's important to consider all of those angles for sure.
It really is.
Yeah.
And you see, this is the quality of the sessions you get at the Daretable conferences. Such a wide breadth of topics, not just what you can build in Airtable, but whether or not you should.
Yeah. I mean, my mentality is find the right solution first, augment second, and build from scratch third. So,
Love that. It's very important.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Of
course.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. And your budget will thank you as well.
And that's the thing, right?
If built from scratch is last.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And ultimately, I mean, it's our goal to make the people that we work with, or whether they're internal or external or a family member or something like that, the goal is to make them happy. So if maybe just making a Google Calendar is better than trying to incorporate calendar events with Airtable and then having an iCal feed and all this, maybe you actually just needed a Google Calendar the whole time.
Perhaps.
So
simplicity is key. That's for sure.
It is, but it gets so complex.
I know. Well, that's the other thing. How do you simplify? And I'm sure someone has a session on simplifying.
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
have you guys been enjoying the?
Oh, absolutely. These are great conferences. I think they get better and better every year. I think all of the speakers this year have given great, unique perspectives on not just Airtable, but the sort of world of no code or low code, and then how it affects their actual, business or careers, which range from just so many different. Everyone is just so different here.
Yeah.
And out there in the world as well.
Yes.
It's so different out there.
Where did you come from today or yesterday?
I flew in from Southern California.
Okay, cool.
So right now I'm in Carlsbad, California, just north of San Diego.
Very nice.
I'm relocating to Houston pretty soon to be closer to family. So
very good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Cool.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no worries.
Absolutely.
Have a good rest of the podcast.
Enjoy your session later today.
Thank you. I'm up against Chris and Elliot's giving a session on AI and building Airtable bases with AI, which is inevitable, and Jen doing a booking platform, and so
it's a hard choice.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's all absolutely.
I'm the first backup speaker, so I've got that going for me.
But again, 3 great sessions here at Daretable.
That's right.
I'm trying to
Daretable UK.
Just
hasn't been announced yet. No.
Being mean to our chat for not showing up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. What happened?
Staying home when you could be here.
There's probably so many people sitting somewhere in San Francisco right now.
There's also a cap that literally couldn't have come.
Yeah. You could, sit outside the window and watch with binoculars out the window.
Yeah.
The screens should be bigger. That's what the feedback was. So maybe if the screens were bigger, people could be sitting on the sidewalk.
Yeah. The hope is that next year we could definitely live stream the whole thing, so that
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So I actually, in a prior life, I was in the entertainment industry working.
Okay.
So I definitely think I can help come up with some solutions to.
Please talk to Chris.
I'm
Yeah,
going to.
you got it.
Community will appreciate it.
Yes,
I'm going to. So okay.
Wonderful. Thank you so
See you
much,
guys.
Bob.
Yep. No
Thank
worries.
you.
awesome.
So they put you on out here, so everybody's watching.
What happened?
Okay.
Oh.
Hello, everyone.
Are we gonna get feedback?
Hi. All right. We got
Welcome.
Nicole.
Where do I sit? Where do I go?
I think
That
this
one?
one
This
is
one.
better.
That's,
Yeah.
You can see that one? Okay.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
How you
It's
doing?
nice to meet you. I haven't met you yet. I'm a huge fan.
Oh, hi.
So-
Thank you.
I had dinner with her last night. So that's why I'm not saying
so that's
thank
who you left us for. I see. Well, you've already had your session.
I did.
And it went wonderfully.
Thank you.
Please, for the audience who wasn't able to come, give us a quick rundown of what you spoke about.
So my session was called Unlocking Efficiencies. And I spoke about utilizing Airtable to streamline and cut your costs and to really automate your systems. And we utilized Make and a third-party platform called AeroPage, which is completely free. And so it was just kind of what that platform can do alongside Airtable and truly what you can automate and really help save costs on your business and cut out, a lot of the middlemen.
Wonderful.
It just was so cool. It really was. It I was playing along with AeroPage while you were presenting and showing it all off, and I was like, whoa, I had never used it before, and it was really, really cool.
There's not much out there with it, and for me, it was even stumbling across it, right? Again, full disclosure, I have no affiliation with AeroPage. I don't work with them.
Yeah, you did start your session off with that, and you also described yourself as a not so technical person, and just seeing, another reason why I love these conferences is because people who just sort of, they don't have degrees in computer science and building such complex and well-built systems out of all of these different tools. This is great to see.
Yeah, no. So that was, AeroPage for me was it took what else I needed to take out of Airtable that's not there, not there yet, probably, and made it, and it's a lot more visually appealing and aesthetic for me in that regards. But it was a platform I stumbled across. It's not out there. Many don't know about it. It's free. I just found it in a Facebook community one day and then hit the ground running and haven't looked back.
That's so cool. And you, if I'm not mistaken, you run your own Facebook community around transaction coordination. Is that correct?
I do. So we have a Facebook community for real estate transaction coordinators called Airtable for TCs. And we actually created, because of that group, we created a template base as well for transaction coordinators. And it's fronted by, I have to create a base and you sell it, you gotta have a company name and all of that. So we have one called TC Airheads. And so that's our marketing platform and everything. So Airtable for TCs, in a sense, is powered by TC Airheads, which is a group of 3 independent businesswomen from all across the country. I'm in Nevada. We have one in Washington, one in Florida, and the whole spread, right? So also too, you build a template base with 3 people across the country in different time zones. That was a lot over, 8 months to a year period there. But yeah, we have 600. I checked this morning because I think I told Chris yesterday 500, and it's 633. Nice. And I was like, look at me go.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So that's not a number to slouch at.
And he was like, he's like, you built a community in a community. And I was like, yeah, I guess we did. So that wasn't the plan, but it was just there. It's a resource that people went to of we're in the same industry. We have the same problems. We are using Airtable. What formulas are you using to calculate this or to show that, right? And so it was a really nice way to just collaborate with everyone, but not also bombard all the other Airtable communities and have them be like, what are you doing? So anytime anyone's like, how do you have 500 fields? It's because I got to do a lot of math. There's a lot. So, yeah.
Awesome.
What inspired you to speak at this conference?
Oh, that's a great question. I have no public speaking background.
But you're so good at it.
I was so nervous yesterday. I'm still shaking from it. That's probably too much coffee though. But I think I think I'm a huge advocate for Airtable as it is. Every person I talk to at this point in my life, they have a problem. My solution is Airtable, right? That's just where your brain goes. And then so seeing that there were speaking opportunities, I was like, okay, at the time that came across, I was really heavy into building out or rebuilding my stuff into AeroPage and using Airtable. And I just thought, like, yeah, nobody knows what this is. And I think it's a great way to do it. And then it was also a way for me to showcase what I had on the back end as well. So it was a way for me to put it all together and to put it in a way that was, you don't need to be, like you said earlier, you don't need to be a professional coder, right?
Yep.
You don't need to know scripting. You don't need to know all this. You can utilize those functions in a general sense, common sense, some logic behind it, but how easy it is to go from, I actually was just speaking to a gentleman out there and he was like, how did you even get started in this with no like tech background in any way? And it was just, it's a gradual transition, right? It's just one thing leads to another and then you teach yourself the next step and the next step and the next step. And next thing you know, you have a template that you're selling across the country. And it's just like, holy cow. So
you're in San Francisco with a bunch of other people that are into it.
Yeah.
And now you've been pulled into a room where you're live on
YouTube.
That
was, yeah. He's like, you want to do the podcast? I'm like, are you sure? Sure you want me on that? So, but yeah.
Of course we do.
Yeah.
So, thank you. But,
wonderful.
All right.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nicole. That was great.
Thank you, guys. So, okay.
Of course.
I'm going to go now.
Okay. All right. Thank you for joining us.
So many great speakers.
I know. It's incredible.
And, shout out to Chris Dancy, because we've had a couple of different speakers who've said, they say they have no public speaking skills. They don't like public speaking. And then they've all, through the confidence he instills in us, all have put on such a great conference so far. And I believe we have our final guest.
Yeah.
Please take a seat.
So, hello.
Hello.
Hi there.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I think I remember you were at the last conference last year?
No, it's my first time.
Okay. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. All right.
Well, you missed out.
Yes.
Yeah. I've heard nothing but good things. I'm excited to be here. I'm hoping to come next year. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what's your name?
My name is Matt.
Matt, thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
So how are you enjoying this conference so far? We've only got a little bit left.
It's great. I mean, I started implementing Airtable at my company, and we use it to like maybe 25% of its capability. And so to be here and to see all the crazy use cases and all the ways it can just like expand and evolve and just do more is really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm sort of our in-house expert. I'm going to come back and, bring all these crazy ideas back to the team and be like, hey, here's how we can improve and level up what we're doing.
Absolutely. And what are you using it for?
Well, I'm in digital marketing, so I'm using it a lot for task management and content planning and things like that. But our team overall, we're a pretty new marketing team. We're pretty lean. And they had no processes in place when I started. Like zero processes. Yeah. Like where everything was just a fire drill. And even to the point where, we were being onboarded by Airtable. We're on an enterprise plan. So we had, we had our hands held the whole time. But part of the process is they want you to go through this workflow mapping to kind of show us how your processes work so we can help you build a base that works for that, right?
Yeah.
Our team couldn't even vocalize what their process looked like because there was no process.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've really just been building literally ground zero, building from the ground up and saying, hey, this is what our process will be. Let's do it and see how it works.
That's so interesting because there's, in my experience, I've been working with a lot of different companies and organizations that did have processes that were like very well defined, but they were paper or they were Excel and something. I haven't yet had, a company that existed, not like an idea for a company, but that couldn't really define that workflow. Yeah. I'm sure that was frustrating, but was it almost like freeing and that no, we could build from scratch almost?
Yes, absolutely. Because when I was being hired, my boss said, hey, how do you feel about coming into like a startup environment? Even though we're a forest products company, we've been around since the 30s.
Oh God.
But this marketing team, it's like a startup. And I was like, that's great. That didn't scare me because that means that I can come in and I'm not fighting with anyone else's processes. Right. We get to build from the ground up and we get to decide what works for us. And it makes it a really collaborative and iterative process where we acknowledge that this is not going to be perfect. It's not going to be smooth necessarily, but we'll get there eventually. And so it's really sort of empowering and great to have sort of the whole team rallying around how do we figure out what the fuck we do and how to do it better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and as you're building your system and your workflow at the same time, do you see that Airtable and what tools are available to you are affecting your workflow, or are you thinking of your workflow first and then trying to find the pieces of Airtable that match it?
A little bit of both, honestly. I love software and I love trying new things. So I do find that sometimes the tool helps shape how I work.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, across our team, I have found that because it is so customizable and whatnot, we can really shape it to work how everyone else works. So like I have a coworker, for instance, who doesn't like open-ended questions, doesn't like no process. She needs to have something really prescriptive. And so for her, we know that we can put together a process that is very sort of templated and standard, and she'll follow it and be happy.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas others can kind of build their custom views and things like that to kind of fit how they have their brain works, how they want to work and get their stuff done.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's such a flexible product. So it's really great for situations like that.
Yeah. Which, I mean, when I was bringing it to the team, it was very overwhelming at first because it was like, hey, look, here are all these options, all these views. You can slice and dice how you want it.
Yeah.
And some of them were just like deer in the headlights. They were like, this is too much. I don't know what to do with this. So we had to really sort of get in the weeds, put together sort of some concepts, get some data in there and like, hey, here's how it actually works. And then let's make it work for you.
Absolutely.
Makes perfect sense.
Do you have a particular like tidbit that you're excited to bring back to share with the team that you learned while you were here?
Yeah. I mean, so I've known for a while that Airtable is really extensible with different products. You can add Make and Zapier and all these things to it. But I've been reluctant to do that, partially because I don't want to add more stuff to our stack, but also because I don't want to add more cost. But I'm finding a lot of really great tools here, like AeroPage and whatnot, that are free.
We all love AeroPage,
right? But I'll be able to bring that back as a concrete example of the way that we can actually make Airtable do more for us. And it really, I think it'll show its value really quickly. And so I'm really excited to just kind of show some of that stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, it's been great to just have everybody here in the same room. And
The energy is awesome. And just, I mean, a lot of us, I've been hearing this a lot, that all of us, or a lot of us, are the only person we know who uses Airtable or uses it a lot and evangelizes it. And so it's cool to be in a room with other people who get it.
Everybody here gets it.
Yeah.
This is our people.
Even my friends, I mean, for fun, I built a RuPaul's Drag Race pool in Airtable where we can all, we were picking our favorite, drag queens and whatnot. And I'm constantly telling everyone, we got to use Airtable for everything, planning a trip, all this stuff.
And they're like, we don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
I've been there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Matt.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoy the rest of the conference.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Well, there you have it. Everyone seems to be having a wonderful time. I see Top Shelf Gaming. You asked who were the two women who were talking about equity. I think we're going to do our best to assemble contact information from all of the people that we had on, and then put it on the Slack channel so that everyone can have, all of the great things that people are putting together and showcasing here.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was so cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
There's more people that we could have got. There's a lot of people here. It's been an awesome experience. Next year, all you people in the comments need to come join us.
Looking forward to it.
Or actually this year. I think they're doing New York and Europe.
I've been hearing all of these locations, and I'm like, again?
Yeah.
It's May.
So there's more coming. Chris has got more up his sleeve. So.
Yeah, we'll look forward to hearing more about that this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the conference is going to be kicking back off here, so we're gonna shut off for now. But thanks to all for joining, and we will see you again next week on our show.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining today's episode. We hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out our sponsor, ontoair.com, and we will see you next time on the BuiltOnAir podcast.